Hey there, YouTube. Another Taurus High Point production coming at you. My name's Ray Shepard. So we've done a little bit of black powder stuff. You've made a nipple wrench from a 5mm socket, 4mm socket, whatever socket you use. And you're wondering if this will be useful process later on down the line. And now you're into milsurps and you got your first Lee Enfield and you run into some bolt problems. You need to get this bolt apart so you can get it cleaned inside here, because it's gum up or sand or whatever garbage is going down in here, unburnt powder, oil, and everything's starting to gum up in here, gum up your works in your bolt. Okay? Well, we see that we turn this end out here, and how do we get that out of there? You look down there, it's got two tiny ears, so you're thinking, well, let me grab a nipple wrench. The ears on that nipple wrench is just a little bit too wide. I'm not gaining my purchase. How am I going to get that out of there? Process takes about an hour. Okay. If you're brand new, never done this, or maybe this is your second one, what you can do is cut you a new one out of a 5mm socket that'll fit in here. The whole socket fits in here, shoulder as well as the other end. That's kind of what you're looking for in case you got to go a little bit deeper with it, or got a heavy hand and push on that as you're taking it apart. So what we'll go ahead and do for the camera, and I'll go ahead and use that same 5mm socket. A couple of different ways you can do this. You can attach a ratchet to it, a 1/4 inch breaker bar, or whatever. I usually just do it by hand. So, that's it. That one ain't pretty. That's just a fast cut. Like I said, I did that in about an hour this morning. I haven't refined it or milled it or sanded it or filed it down to be pretty. I just cut it. My bolt was already, or firing pin was loose. It was not all jammed up or gummed up in there, but I knew that for intended purposes, if I ever broke it, the firing pin, I would need a way to extract it. 5mm socket that I showed you before. Well, I got this rifle. It's fairly clean, so I'm very pleased with it. Tired of using it. Like I said, 1/4 inch breaker bar. Kind of helps you cheat a little bit. I know camera angle sucks, but it's what I got to work with. And it's going right back in there. Like the Lee Enfield bolt. You can go online and look up the tool extractor. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I've seen them anywhere from $8 to $47, and I'm not going to mix it with you. The only ones I've seen in stock are the $47 bolt tools. You might get lucky and find them for $32, $31 on eBay, but then they want $7 to $9 in shipping. Some might offer free shipping. $31 versus $4 at your local hardware store for a 5mm socket. The breaker bar I had on hand. Anyway, the bolts is back together. And firing pin's not protruding. Firing pin is protruding. I'll go home, get this lined up on my Enfield front sight, and that firing pin should be protrude the width of the front sight. If it doesn't, I'll take that little tool and either push it in or back it up, whichever it needs to do. This has been a Taurus High Point production. Just following other YouTubers, trying to do this stuff on my own without going broke buying all these tools. That's a 5mm socket. It is, I got this one Ace Hardware. I cut the ears. Like I said this morning, this is a Poplo brand, cheap rotary tool, cheap Dremel, knockoff Dremel. Got that on Amazon. I want to save $25-30 with the shipping, I think. That's how cheap it was when I picked it up a few years ago. I'm going to be using these files here to get it smoothed out and get it looking pretty. But a rough cut, functional 5mm socket. If you've ever done black powder and had to make your own nipple wrench, you've got this. You know what you're doing. It's almost the same process, only the ears here on this Enfield tool are just a little bit narrower than what it would be for a nipple wrench. This has been a Taurus High Point production. Letting you know if you got to build your own Lee Enfield bolt tool, firing pin tool, and you've ever done a nipple wrench, you've got this. I choose, therefore I am responsible.